We were able to test for lead on the building. This concession stand, the blue areas did not contain lead, but the components on these windows and openings for the concession stand did come back lead paint. You can see that the swab did change colors on both the swab and the surface tested. You can use the swabs to meet EPA guidelines, but please consider the fact that OSHA, who is superseding everybody, does not consider a swab test to be accurate. You are to take paint chip samples. You could use an XRF gun, but please, when you're working on an older facility, whether it be a home, a commercial building, child occupied, or even a concession stand out at a football field, please just work lead safe. Protect yourself and protect your customer.
Hey everybody, Fast Eddie back here, Contractors Training Institute, lead renovator training. We're here today on a job for Student Painters here. They're a national company, and we've got one of their franchisees out here. We've got a job that they're doing at a school. This is a stadium, and we've got some concession stands that need some repair and paint work done. This is not RRP, but we still need to do lead safe work. So we're going to follow OSHA standards and still follow these lead safe, so we're protecting ourselves. We want to be safe. We want to make sure we do a good job. What we're going to do now is we've got to do some scraping to get rid of this peeling paint. We're going to do it wet. We're going to contain the paint chips, contain that debris, and we're going to use poly. So when we're setting up the jobs, the minimum outside I would say to use poly would be 4 mil thickness. You could use 6 mil. It's going to hang a lot better on the ground and stay down. We're going to show you the pins that we use. We're going to use spray glue instead of tape. Spray glue works a lot better than tape because it's more efficient. You're going to have layover where the two are going to overlap on each other. Utilize that spray glue. We'll show you how to do it. Let's get started now. Now we need to have at least 10 feet of plastic from the building out. We need to be able to secure it down outside like this. It's going to be a little bit of an issue, so we've brought pins with us to be able to do this. You can buy little landscape stakes. They come in a packet, you can get them. You can also use insulation hangers. These cost a couple dollars, but you only get 10. When you buy the insulation hangers are 15.5 inches long. There's 100 of them in a box. They're $2 for 100. You can easily bend it over. It's a tiny piece of little steel. You can bend it and make your own stakes to hold it down. Let me see a couple of those, Dan. Thank you. So when we're securing it, we're going to just use these stakes. Put our plastic out. Pin it down. Your plastic isn't going to fly around. These stakes are reusable so that you can actually reuse them next time and just save them. If you lose it, it really didn't matter. It was 10 for $2. If you buy the insulation ones, you're getting 100 for $2. Saves you even more money. Securing it down is important because we don't want it to blow away. Another trick for you, if you're doing a large job and you need to shrink your containment, you can't go 10 feet, you're going to go on the neighbor's property. Another thought for you, here's some more. Another thought for you is to carry with you 10-foot sticks of 2x6. Now when that 2x6, you guys carry it, it's 10 feet long, that's our containment width or length. You'll stand the 2x6 on end. You're going to want to drill near the middle, 2 feet apart, 1/2-inch hole straight through that 2x6, so that you can actually spray glue the surface and stick the plastic to it. So now I've got a bathtub. You can actually roll the plastic up in on top of that 2x6, stand it on end. You carry a piece of rebar with you, 3/8-inch rebar, just a 12-inch little clip of it. Stick it down. Now I've got a stake and I'm holding up my 2x6 to secure that area if I need to do a bathtub. You can make it better. So secure that down. Make sure you shrink your containment as necessary, but we need to keep it from blowing away. That's what's important. We do not want this stuff to fall apart and cause us a problem. If this ever flips up, please stop immediately, or when safest point of time to stop, and re-secure it down. Spray glue it together. Another trick for you, as we were mentioning earlier, is we're going to spray glue instead of using tape to secure it together, because tape, you end up using 2 rows of 2-inch tape. Now I do recommend poly tape or restoration tape. It is a better tape. It does stick real well. We can glue this stuff together and not use any tape at all. So watch what we're going to do here. Okay, pin that one, pin it down right where you're at. Okay. Can you come and hold that after you pin that? Can you hold that edge in about right here at the corner of the building? We want to pull this in about 12 inches like that, and just hold it flat like that. Hold that like that. We're going to use the spray glue instead of tape. Give it about 20 seconds and then start flipping it over. The two are going to contact cement together, so go ahead and flip it. All you got to do is walk on it. It's stuck together. We don't need any tape. Why waste your time? It's a little quicker to use the spray glue. Any sort you can get it down to $5–6 a can. It saves you a lot of time. Now these two pieces are bound together. I also utilize the spray glue if we have a lot of debris on top of our containment. Leave the debris on it and make a burrito out of your stuff. Whatever garbage you have in there, you're going to roll it up in the plastic, spray glue it together. You got a tight burrito for disposal. You can just get rid of it. It makes it that much simpler. Now we've got our containment down. Now we're ready to start doing some scraping and prep work on it. On this particular building, we've got some large holes that we need to fix. We're going to do some fixes to it, and we're going to show you a little trick to do that. So we'll do that in 1 minute. We'll talk to you in a sec. All right, here we are. We've got to do a little patch. Here's a little trick for you. We're going to use a little great stuff, a little spray foam. There's a small area that needs to be repaired. The foundation's moved, the block is separated, it's become a problem. So what we're going to do is flip our can upside down, and we're going to fill the hole so that we can actually fill that with some great stuff and expand it in there so we can put mortar on top. In the back a little bit. There you go. Fill it below that. All right. Let's fill this crack over here and hold it back just a little bit. Let it just get on the brick. Fill that in. There you go. Shove it in there and we'll let it expand. We're going to let these expand. We'll come back later today. We're going to scrape it back. We're going to do a V-notch, so we're going to actually bring it back at least a ½ inch. And then we're going to use this as a quick fix. It's ready mix pre-made concrete patch. We're going to put this patch material on top. We're going to fill those mortar joints. You can mix up your own mortar. You could cake bag it in. There's different ways to do it. This is a quick fix. We're going to fill these gaps, make it prepped and ready for paint. All right, now we're back on another side. We've got a piece of plastic left from a job the other day. There's no sense in throwing away good plastic just because you cut it off and had it left over. We're going to utilize it on this job. We're going to save money. We're not going to waste money. So we're going to extend the plastic from our edge, so we're at least this 10 feet away. We're 15 on this job. We want it to be a little bit more. And we're going to run it across, and we're going to cut it up and glue it together to help make our containment. Utilize your old plastic that's left over from another job, not used, but leftover new stuff, so you're not wasting it, throwing it away. So let's put it together. Now we put our edge together, we're going to flip it back and we're going to glue it together. So we're just going to hold it over, give it a little flip over, and we're going to hold that down. We're going to spray both sides. And as she's done doing this, we're just going to flip it back over so the two glue together. So we're taking a small piece of plastic and we're now making it a big piece of plastic. Let's save some time and money so we're not wasting it. We can make this even better by gluing these pieces together. You can save money, put more money in your pocket, do what we're telling you, and you'll do a great job, student painters. All right, we're going to show you how to use the tape, and the reason I like the spray glue better than just doing duct tape is we're using too much tape. When we're doing it, we're going to have to tape and secure that joint, but as we're doing it, we're not always catching the entire joint, depending on how smooth our edges are. If we put it down and try and hit it, we're losing it over here. We're coming out. So now we're using two pieces of tape and it becomes a real waste. I want to use the spray glue as often as I can because just using tape, I end up using more than you think. The other one, remember, you can get 3-inch duct tape. You can get it from Gorilla duct tape. It's fabulous. It does stick to most anything. The other trick to it is the spray glue helps you guys pin it down. You can actually spray glue it to the edges and it'll hold together. Utilize the tape when necessary. Please think about using the spray glue. It'll save you a little bit more time. Here, another trick for you is when we're trying to secure this edge, we can pin this edge down and usually hold it pretty tight. A lot of times that works great. We can hold it down with some boards, but when we're doing scraping up high and we need to watch out where our paint chips go, we can actually seal this off. We can tape this edge. A lot of times the duct tape or Gorilla duct tape will work real well, but I have just used the glue. Don't worry, we're coming back and we're going to be scraping and painting that anyway, so it's not going to be a problem. The two work real well, and now we've secured it up and we've got an edge where no paint chips are going to come through that. We can actually secure it. When we're done and we're ready to get down here and our prep work high has been done, we're coming back down low, this just comes back off. It's not a big deal and it'll hold up for you. Work smarter, make more money. Let's do it right. Work lead safe. All right, we're back at it. Now we got to set up. We're going to go up high and do some scraping. Now you've got plastic down and it sure seems like a good idea, but then when you bring a ladder on it, now it seems like a bad idea. We've got to do this. We've got to get up high. You could use scaffolding. That gets expensive. I like the ladders. Ladders are meant to temporarily get you up to a certain height, but let's do it safely. So when we're doing this, we're never going to just set the ladder on the plastic. We're gonna actually cut holes in the plastic to see what we're putting it on. I want it on safe ground. I want to know what my ladder legs are sitting on. Those feet need to be secure. We're gonna cut holes, put it on a safe ground. Then if we move it, we'll tape those holes shut and move it over and cut new holes. So let's do this. Let's cut these holes and get it ready. When you're doing an extension ladder, let's everybody remember, what's the ratio on an extension ladder?
4 to 1.
4 to 1, 75 degrees on the angle. It's not supposed to be a bridge. And by the way, this is not American Ninja where you're gonna be straight up and down. We don't need anybody doing falling off a ladder, video guy. So we gotta be safe about it. So let's figure out our 4 to 1. We're gonna go up. We need to come out. Let's make some notches. We've made some cuts in the plastic. Most dangerous tool in your toolbox. Let's open it up. Hold that open. Put our feet on it. Know what our feet are going to be on. And let's extend the ladder up and get ourselves to a high position. Now that we've got ourselves set up, we've got ourselves in a good position, you can always look at the rungs of the ladder and they need to look flat. If they don't look flat, you're not at the right angle. But now we've got big holes in our plastic. If you feel that's going to be a problem where something might go, we can just take a little tape and start taping these holes shut. Now we've got it set up where we've secured the holes, we've made them smaller, but I know my ladder's on safe ground. Nobody's gonna get hurt going up this ladder. Another thought process, we're gonna be working wet, not that wet. We've got our little squirt bottles, we're gonna work wet while scraping and doing a little sanding prep. Please watch out when there is debris and your plastic gets wet. When I was a kid, they had what's called a slip and slide. You know what? We don't want this to become a slip and slide. That's a slip, trips, and fall OSHA issue. We've got to keep it secure down here. We make sure that we're watching out. Don't fall on this stuff. Clean up if it gets too wet, mop it up. We don't want to fall. We've set up our barrier. We're ready to start working. We've got our containment zone. They call it many different things. OSHA calls it a regulated area or a controlled access zone, a CAZ, controlled access zone, a CAZ. When it's under lead, they like to call it a security or a barrier. We've put up our barrier tape. We've set it up at least 20 feet off the job or as good as we can get it. And it's got our signs on it, so it says danger, lead work area, stay out. We're trying to keep people from coming in on either way. We've got it on both sides of the job. We're gonna keep them out. Only authorized personnel are welcome, no one else. Make sure you let people know that. They stay out of your work area. Makes it safer for you and for everybody else. Let's get started with some scraping now. All right, we're back at it. We're ready to start scraping. We've tested this unit using the lead check swabs that are EPA approved. Just as a reminder, the way we always teach the classes is you can go ahead and test. It's more of an informational piece for you to help the homeowner understand. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather have a paint chip sample or XRF gun reading from someone like me, a lead inspector, risk assessor. But when we tested, the blue areas on the block did not come back lead paint. But all our white areas over here on these windows and these openings for the concession stand did come back lead. So now it doesn't matter what we're touching, we're just working safe. We're gonna work lead safe on the whole job. I would recommend always working lead safe. All lead safe means is I'm working clean. You need to do that. Now we're gonna start wet scraping. This is how you do it safely. We wanna contain the dust, what's being made from the scraping. The wetness helps control it, helps it stay down and go down to the ground. We're also utilizing plastic. Another tip for the plastic and why we use poly is it has static electricity. As that small dust falls, you can't always see the lead dust falling. The static electricity on the poly is going to help hold it. That's why we're doing it. The poly helps protect you, the worker. That's what containment's all about. It's about helping the homeowner and you. Let's do some scraping. Let's just keep it wet. You're gonna have paint chips, you're gonna have debris, but because we're working wet, we're helping control the air. The air that you breathe, it's also the air the homeowner's there. We don't wanna leave it behind. That's why working wet is essential. It's probably the #1 thing you can do for working safe with lead paint. When you guys are doing this stuff, we have air monitoring at OSHAairmonitoring.com that shows you what the air levels are. When you worry about lead, lead starts at 50 micrograms per cubic meter of air. When you run air testing at 50, which is the PEL, a permissible exposure limit, that's the maximum amount of lead you can breathe in an 8-hour time-weighted average day. Now with that, we need to be concerned. Well, we're gonna suit up, respirator up, we're gonna start all kinds of different monitorings, hygiene, we're gonna start all kinds of good stuff. But if we stay below 50, we don't need a suit. We don't need a respirator. We've got documentation of negative exposure assessments. We've done air monitoring in the past, and our records show that while working wet and doing the scraping that they're doing now, the air levels are between 3 and 7. Normally around 3.7 to 3.9 micrograms per cubic meter of air. That's nothing. That is a very low level. It's a safe level for you. And if you help your homeowners explain that to them, why you're doing it and what the benefit is for you protecting yourself, you're helping that homeowner stay safe, and they're going to be a heck of a lot happier. We're still scraping and we're still working wet. Go ahead and pan out and show them scraping on it. Just keep that surface wet while you're doing it. If it's starting to dry out, you're just going to keep squirting it. Let that water help control it. We're not bringing sprinklers on. We're not calling the fire department to hose it down. We just need to work wet. Keep it moist. And at all costs, you can see that they're wearing their student painters uniforms here, our t-shirts. I highly recommend that. I'd get some stuff. You want to let your name be out there. We've got our sign out here today. Everyone's got their shirts on. I've even got my shirt on. This is OSHA safety. You need to be smart about it. Let's advertise while we're doing it and keep ourselves working and making good money. All right, let's talk to you again. Hey, we're back and we're here doing the work. We did find earlier, we've been doing some spraying for some hornet spray. We've got some bees up on the wall. We did some filling up there to get rid of their little house. The bees got a little house in there. Please work safe. This is a concern for your safety. Please use some type of spray. Get them cleared out before you start entering so that you're working safe. Just recently out in California, there's a man that died on the job because they came upon a hornet's nest. 3 guys were hurt. 1 of the 3 died from the bee stings. You don't want to be that person. Work smart, work safe. Let's make sure we fill them in and contain them so we don't get hurt on the job. Always think to protect yourself first. All right, we're still out here working. It's going to take a while to scrape this stuff. If you pan out, you can see why we want to put the plastic down. We're still working wet, we're still containing it, but all of our paint chips are being collected on the plastic. That's the point. I don't want to make a mess. Nobody wants to leave this stuff behind. The blue was not, the block was not lead, but this white here on that opening is lead. We don't want this stuff behind. Even though this is a commercial facility, listen, there's kids out here. We don't want it to be left behind where someone's going to get in contact with any of this lead. That's why we have this down. Now we've got some black poly here and we've got clear poly. The same thing is occurring below each one of these polys. We've had it down for about 30 minutes now. You cannot see what's going on underneath the dark poly, but the clear poly you can see. Look at the tops, and this is now getting moist. You can see the moisture coming up. It's trying to go to the top because the sun's making it come out of the grass. Now I'm creating a sauna effect below the plastic, and that sauna effect is now heating up and it starts to cook the grass. That's why underneath plastic, if you left it down for days, it kills the grass. We don't want to kill the grass. We want to do a job that's correct for that homeowner. So when we're done with this plastic, we want to get these sides done, get the scraping done, get all that disturbance done so we can clean it up and get this plastic gone, because we want to save that lawn. You don't want to have to explain it to the homeowner. But I would explain to them there is that possibility. Let's do it right. Let's work lead safe. All right, we've come back. We've kind of filled these areas. Now, of course, the bees are hanging. We've tried to fill these big gaps. We're going to mortar them in to fill it, to do a patch job. We're cutting back the foam to expose that. We've got to cavity it out a little bit, do a little V-notch to it, because we got to put enough mortar in there to seal it up. So as we cut it back, we're going to open it up and cut it back so that we can put our finger in there and clear it out, so we've got a little depth to our mortar. So as we clear out this spray foam to fill that back, or to give it something to sit on, we're going to fill it in, and we'll use some of this mortar patch to fill in our mortar joints to do some tuck pointing. So we'll do that in a minute. All right, we're using a mortar patch. It looks safe. It's just a little paste. It's pre-mixed. It's a little quicker, a little faster for doing these little patches we're going to do. You could take your hand in there and smear it and kind of smear it on there, but please read the directions. Everything's got a hazard to it. It says attention warning. This has chemicals in it, and it's not made for skin contact. If you do, you need to wash your hands. You don't want to be injured. Everything looks safe, but there's a lot more dangerous things out there that could hurt you. Don't get hurt on the job. Let's put some of this patch in there. As you can see, we started packing it in. We just want to pack and fill in those areas and mortar it up. We're going to fill these areas so that we can patch that section in with the paste. You could do it this way. There are also tools made for troweling it in for tuck pointing. There are also a cake bag, kind of like you'd squeeze out for putting icing on a cake, that you can pack with mortar. You pre-mix up the mortar and you squeeze it out for the cake bag, just like you're putting happy birthday on that cake you made. But you can actually fill these areas with that cake bag. It makes it a little simpler. Learn how to do some of this stuff. Let's work smart. Let's work safe. Let's go make some money. All right, well, we're going to finish up here with the video, but we're going to keep on working. We've done a lot of wet scraping, working safe. We're going to get the caulk work done. We're going to work safe all day and every day that we're here. Now remember, please wash your hands and wipe your face. Just some wet wipies, or learn about that Fast Steady bucket of wipes. There's a video on my website for it. Go to Contractors Training Institute or leadrenovatortraining.net. You guys can watch that video. You were learned in class about it. Keep your hands clean so you don't take that lead back into your system and hurt yourself. Wash yourself up. When we leave today, we're going to make sure that we HEPA vacuum ourselves. You've got to have that HEPA vacuum. You want to vacuum your clothes off so that any lead dust that's got on you is going to be gone. You can go home safe. We're here to work safe. Student Painters now knows how to do it right. Aaron, now you know. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.